I found my love.
And that was a young man who was coming here, and it used to frighten the life out of me. I mean, you see so many people. Every basin was full of ships. They was queuing up to come in.
It then declined. People moved out. It was left barren. Then the developers came in.
Kiss my girl by the factory.
Salford Quays looks nothing like Salford to me. They're trying to become some European American place, you know, and Manchester and Salford are two of the places in the world that have got the strongest identities, which were unique to them.
I said a sigh.
I don't know anyone who lives around here anywhere.
It's a sort of alien place to you, this,
Alien place. I come here now and then. Cinema, that's about the only time I come here. Or if I want a few football things, it's cheap.
Yeah. Night factory in Malari.
Centre.
Do you know what this place used to be back in the day? It was a port.
A port?
Yeah.
No, never.
Docks.
Really?
5,000 people worked it.
The redevelopment of docks and canals in the UK tends to follow a familiar pattern, revolving around luxury apartments, shopping, and if you're lucky, the so-called knowledge economy. The famous Manchester Ship Canal runs from the old Salford docks to Liverpool. Its future is suddenly pointing in a very different direction. We're travelling the length of the canal to find out how. After well over a century of rivalry, the Port of Liverpool and the Manchester Ship Canal are now owned by one company, Peel Ports, part of the little-known but surprisingly powerful Peel Group. They have ambitious plans, part of what's called the Atlantic Gateway project, to turn the Ship Canal back into a thriving trade route.
This river and canal fueled the Industrial Revolution, and once again, their potential is being realised.
It certainly is an amazing feat of engineering, and it stood the test of time. I mean, to think 1894 it was finished.
It's a very precision operation. We're now going through a lock and entering the Manchester Ship Canal. You're from South Africa, right?
Yes.
How did you end up being a pilot on the Manchester Ship Canal?
Long story.
Ship's moving about 8 knots, it's quite slow. We're about to dock for 2 hours, and it's another 4 hours to our final destination of Earlham. I wanted a mission. For my sins, they gave me one.
This site here is a classic example of what you find along the lengths of the Manchester Ship Canal. It used to be a paper mill, outgrew its usefulness. It has a disused wharf that you can just see off over in the distance there. There's a railhead that comes into the site. And so what we plan to do with these sites is bring all of the different modes of transport together, water, rail, road, and then put a 1 million square foot warehouse in the middle of it.
Is it fair to say then that the aim is to re-industrialise a place like this?
I think what we're doing is using the 19th century infrastructure for 21st century benefit, and you know, we'll never turn the clock back on globalisation, but globalisation puts huge pressure on our transport infrastructure, and this 19th century infrastructure can be used for today's world.
Peel Ports are promising to create up to 8,000 jobs along a revived ship canal. They're also working with big companies such as Kellogg's and Regatta Sportswear to cut their use of the roads. They say they want to challenge the UK's dominant southern ports and thereby contribute to a rebalancing of the north-south divide.
Do you ever wish you could go faster?
Well, there's a limit. The canal will tell you when there's a limit, and you'll feel it as well. If I put the speed up here, this ship will begin to start vibrating violently. The faster you go, the faster the water has to flow back into the hull.
There are other limits to what the canal can take.
As vessels have got bigger and bigger, it's not the depth of water in the ship canal nor the width of the canal. It's actually the height of vessels and getting under Runcorn Railway Bridge. That's the barrier that sent Manchester into decline.
You're a powerful company. Can you have a word with the people of the Runcorn Railway Bridge and get it put up higher?
I think closing the West Coast Railway line for a few years whilst we raise the bridge might be a task a bit too much even for us.
But some people worry about the power and influence of the Peel Group and their companies.
At Port Salford, a site that covers 112 acres, there is the scope for the largest conceivable development on the banks of the Ship Canal.
Port Salford will bring jobs and some prosperity for local people. That's why we're supporting it. However, if you know Peel well, they don't want to stop at Port Salford. That is the heliport there, that building. Now, again...
Manchester United footballers come and go.
No, it's where the chairman of Peel Holdings comes and goes. Well, all the land at the back of here is owned by Peel Holdings, and it's all greenbelt land. And what Peel want to do round here is put warehousing to extend the Port Salford development. Further on, they want to build over 1,400 houses on that land, and that is also greenbelt. It will slowly be swallowed up unless we try and stop them. Very powerful player, and when it comes to democracy, if they've got a national infrastructure project like Port Salford, they can go directly to the Minister for planning permission. They don't even have to come through Salford City Council's planning panel.
Peel Ports told us that plans to build houses on greenbelt land are the responsibility of another part of the Peel Group.
Let go now, leave the lock.
Yeah, okay, Vince, no reported traffic in that section,
Right, thank you.
As the hours crawl by, our barge steadily makes its way along the 36 miles of the canal, through landscapes that evoke the fascinating history of this part of the world. Its bridges and locks speak of the northwest 19th century glories. Huge chemical plants show what happened next. And then there are the big waterside gastropubs and pastiche housing developments that heralded this region's reluctant embrace of a post-industrial future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. I've ended up just shy of Port Salford, which will be the end point of the new freight which comes up and down this place as part of the Atlantic Gateway plan.
The interests behind the Atlantic Gateway dream reckon that redeveloping Liverpool, Birkenhead and the Manchester Ship Canal, and thereby retilting the imbalance between England's north and south, could create 250,000 jobs. At the Salford end of the canal, local people have heard that kind of claim before.
They're talking about 140,000 new jobs and all this.
Well, again, if it's local jobs, then I don't mind, but they said that with the Media City and it's not transpired. I'm a community reporter. There was supposed to be an area of Media City for people like myself. No. I believe they had statistics that they were going to employ X amount of Salford people, and as far as I'm aware, they employ hotel cleaners, you know.
I used to work driving them two particular cranes. I'm still fighting to save them.
That's the last remaining bit of Salford docks.
Once them two cranes come down, people won't know what was there before. Once we lose them two, then everything stops. We've lost everything.
At least perhaps the latest model of regeneration builds on the legacy of the past, rather than pulling it down and clearing it away.
Dirty old time.